With a bold approach, Vetokhin employs the Nimzondian defense 3 knights variation against Tarhan in this Sharjah Masters 2025 group around 1 match. On d4. Knight f6. On c4. On e6. Knight c3. Bishop b4 entered in Nimzondian defense 3 knights variation. Knight f3. King castled kingside. Bishop g5. On h6. Threatening pawn takes g5. Bishop h4 played by Vetokhin. On c5. On d5. On b5. Threatening pawn takes c4. On e4 played by Vetokhin. Vetokhin is preparing to play. On e5. On takes d5. On takes d5. Rook e8. Bishop takes b5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. On takes d5 played by Tarhan. On takes d5. Rook e8. Threatening knight takes e4. On e5 played by Vetokhin. Queen a5 stop here and find the strongest move for Vetokhin. Rook c1 is best move here because Queen takes a2. Bishop takes b5. Bishop takes c3 check. Pawn takes c3. Queen takes d5. Queen e2 Vetokhin have small advantage. Let's go to the main variation. Threatening bishop takes b5. Queen a5 played by Tarhan. Tarhan wants to play. Bishop takes c3 check. Pawn takes c3. Queen takes c3 check and gain a significant edge. Bishop d3 is an inaccurate played by Vetokhin. Bishop takes c3 check. Pawn takes c3. Queen takes c3 check. It is novelty move. King f1. Threatening pawn takes f6. Knight takes d5 played by Tarhan. Rook c1. Threatening rook takes c3. Queen a3 played by Tarhan. Tarhan's idea is to play knight c6. King g1. Bishop b7. Pawn h3. Pawn c4. Bishop b1. Knight takes e5. Knight takes e5. Rook takes e5 and gain a significant edge. Queen d2 played by Vetokhin. Bishop a6. King g1. Pawn b4. Tarhan is aiming to play Queen takes d3. Queen takes d3. Bishop takes d3 and increase their advantage significantly. Bishop takes a6 played by Vetokhin. Knight takes a6. On h3. Knight c3. Tarhan wants to play Queen takes c1 check. Queen takes c1. Knight e2 check. King h2. Knight takes c1 and dominate the board. Rook c2 played by Vetokhin. Queen a4. King h2. On d6. Threatening pawn takes e5. Rook e1 played by Vetokhin. Pawn takes e5. Knight takes e5. Rook e6. Rook c1. Take a moment to spot the best move for Tarhan. Queen e8 is a strong choice, since On f4. Knight c7. Knight g4. On f5. Knight e5. Knight 7 d5. Tarha heading towards winning, shifting to the main line. Rook c1. Rook a e8. Slightly worse move played by Tarha. Tarha is looking to play. Rook takes e5. Rook takes e5. Rook takes e5 and establish a winning position. Queen f4 played by Vetokhin. Threatening queen takes f7 check. Rook takes e5 played by Tarha. Rook takes e5. Rook takes e5. Queen takes e5. Queen takes a2. Queen e8 check. King h7. Rook e1. Vetokhin is planning to play. Rook e7. King g6. Bishop g3. Queen d5. Queen c8. Pawn b3. Bishop e5. Knight e4. Queen takes a6 check and take decisive advantage. Queen c4 played by Tarha. Queen c8. Time to think, find the best continuation for Tarha. Knight e2 is best move here because Queen f5 check. King h8. Queen h5. Queen f4 check. Bishop g3. Knight takes g3. Still Tarha is losing. Let's analyze the main variation. Threatening queen takes h4. Queen c8 played by Vetokhin. King g6. Slightly worse move played by Tarha. Bishop g3. Vetokhin might go for Rook e5. Queen d3. Rook e3. Queen f5. Queen takes a6 check and increase their advantage significantly. On b3 played by Tarha. Bishop e5. Vetokhin is preparing to play. Queen g8. Knight e4. Rook takes e4 and gain a significant edge. Knight d5 played by Tarha. On f3. Time to think, find the best continuation for Tarha. Knight f6 is a strong choice, since on f4. On b2. Bishop takes b2. Queen b4. Rook e2. Queen takes f4 check. Still Tarha is losing, shifting to the main line. On f3. Knight b6. Time to think, find the best continuation for Vetokhin. Queen f8 is logical continuation as on f6. Rook e4. On takes e5. Queen d6 check. King f7. Rook takes c4. Vetokhin have small advantage. Let's go to the main variation. Vetokhin intends to play Rook e4. Queen takes e4. On takes e4 and take decisive advantage. Knight b6 loses position played by Tarha. Threatening knight takes c8. Queen e8 is a critical mistake played by Vetokhin. Vetokhin is aiming to play Rook e4. Knight c7. Queen c6 check and dominate the board. King h7 played by Tarha. Rook e4. Threatening rook takes c4. Queen e6 played by Tarha. Tarha is looking to play Queen takes e8. On h4. Queen b5. On f4. Knight d7. Bishop b2. Knight f6. Rook e5. Queen b8 and seize the initiative. Queen f8 played by Vetokhin. Threatening queen takes g7 mate. On f6 played by Tarhan. Threatening pawn takes e5. Bishop b2 played by Vetokhin. Threatening rook takes e6. Queen g8 played by Tarhan. Threatening queen takes f8. Queen e7 played by Vetokhin. Knight d5. Threatening knight takes e7. Queen d7 played by Vetokhin. Vetokhin is preparing to play. Rook e8. Knight b8. Queen f5 check. Pawn g6. Queen c8. Queen g7. Queen takes b8 and secure a stronghold in the game. Knight ac7 played by Tarhan. Rook g4. Queen f8. King h1. On a5. Queen a4. Threatening queen takes b3. Queen e7 played by Tarhan. Rook e4. Threatening rook takes e7. Queen d6 played by Tarhan. Queen takes b3. Knight b4. Rook e1. Vetokhin is aiming to play. Bishop c3. Knight d3. Rook e3. Knight b4. Bishop e1. King g6. Queen b1 check. King f7. Rook a3 and secure a stronghold in the game. Queen d3 played by Tarhan. Threatening queen takes b3. Queen f7 played by Vetokhin. Threatening queen takes c7. Knight cd5 played by Tarhan. Queen e6 take a moment to spot the best move for Tarhan. Knight f4 is the right idea because Queen e3. Queen takes e3. Rook takes e3. Knight fd3. Bishop a1. King g6 position is equal shifting to the main line. Queen e6. On c4 is not the best move played by Tarhan. Rook e4. Pause the video and find the best move for Tarhan. On c3 is logical continuation as Bishop a3. Queen f1 check. King h2. Queen b5. Queen f7. Queen b8 check. Still Tarhan is losing shifting to the main variation. Rook e4. Queen b1 check. Slightly worse move played by Tarhan. King h2. Queen takes b2. Queen f5 check. King g8. Queen g6. Threatening rook e8 mate. Knight c7 played by Tarhan. Rook e7. Queen e5 check. Rook takes e5. Pawn takes e5. Queen f5. Vetokhin's idea is to play Queen c8 check. King h7. Queen takes c7 and establish a winning position. Knight bd5 played by Tarhan. Queen takes e5. On c3. Queen d4. King f7. On f4. On g6. Queen e4. King f6. On g4. On a4. Queen takes a4. Knight e6. Queen c6. Threatening queen takes d5. Knight takes f4 played by Tarhan. Queen takes c3 check. King f7. Queen e5. Vetokhin might go for. On h4. On g5. Queen f5 check. King g7. On takes g5. On takes g5. King h1. Knight f8. Queen takes g5 check, and increase their advantage significantly. King e7 played by Tarhan. King g3. King f7. Queen h8. Vetokhin is planning to play. Queen h7 check. King e8. Queen takes h6 and establish a winning position. On h5 played by Tarhan. On g5. Vetokhin is looking to play. King f3. On h4. Queen h7 check. King e8. King g4. Knight f8. Queen takes h4 and gain a significant edge. King e7 played by Tarhan. Queen f6 check. King d6. On h4. Vetokhin is preparing to play. King f3. King d5. Queen e7 and dominate the board. King d5 played by Tarhan. Queen f7. King e5. Queen e8. King e4. Queen c6 check. King e5. Queen c3 check. King e4. Queen e1 check. King d5. King f3. King d6. Queen d2 check. King e5. Queen e3 check. King d5. Queen e4 check. King d6. Pause the video and find the best move for Vetokhin. Queen b4 check is the right idea because King e5. Queen b8 check. King d5. Queen b5 check. King d4. Queen a5. Vetokhin have small advantage. Let's go to the main variation. King d6. King e3 is not the best move played by Vetokhin. Knight d5 check. King d2. Threatening queen takes g6. Knight df4 played by Tarhan. King c3. Knight d5 check. King c4. Threatening queen takes d5 check. Knight df4 played by Tarhan. Queen e1. Knight c7. Queen b4 check. King e5. Queen b8. Threatening queen takes c7 check. Knight d5 played by Tarhan. Queen h8 check. King f5. Queen f8 check. King g4. Queen f7. King takes h4. Queen takes g6. Knight f4. Queen f5. Stop here and find the strongest move for Tarhan. Knight ce6 is the correct move because on g6. King g3. On g7. Knight takes g7. Queen g5 check. King f3 still Tarhan is losing, shifting to the main game. Threatening knight takes g6. Queen f5 played by Vetokhin. Threatening queen takes f4 check. Knight cd5 severely weakens the position. Played by Tarhan. Tarhan might go for knight e3 check. King b4. Knight takes f5 and take decisive advantage. King d4 played by Vetokhin. Vetokhin is planning to play on g6. Knight takes g6. Queen takes g6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King g3 played by Tarhan. On g6, do not rush. Can you find the strongest move for Tarhan? Knight takes g6 is a strong choice, since queen takes g6 check. King f2. King takes d5. King f3. Queen f7 check. King g4 still Tarhan is losing. Let's go to the main variation. On g6. Vetokhin considers playing. On g7. Knight e7. Queen g5 check. King f3. Queen takes e7 and seizes the initiative. Knight e7 loses position, played by Tarhan. Queen g5 check. King f3. Queen takes e7. Stop here and find the strongest move for Tarhan. Knight e2 check is a strong choice, since King e5. Knight g1. On g7. King e3. On promotes to queen at g8. Knight f3 check, still Tarhan is losing. Let's analyze the main variation. Tarhan might go for knight e6 check. King e5. Knight takes g5 and establish a winning position. Queen takes e7 played by Vetokhin. Knight takes g6 is a blunder. Played by Tarhan. Queen e4 check, a masterful performance by Vetokhin.